Hello, Port Townsend. Reverend Crystal Cox here, and I've got to meet Michael today, so I just want to visit with him and get to know him a little bit, and I thought I'd share it with you folks. So, hello.
Hi.
Good to meet you.
You too.
How long have you lived in Port Townsend?
For 14 years.
14 years? Where are you from?
I was born in Renton, Washington. I lived in Auburn until I was 22.
Now to the important stuff. Where did you get Moses?
I got Moses. I found him online. I was actually looking for a Rottweiler, and I saw this advertisement for him when he was 2 weeks old. It said hybrids, and I didn't even know you could get a hybrid, so I thought that was interesting. I did a lot of research on him before I went and got him, and then I went and picked him out at 2 weeks old.
So you've raised him.
Oh yeah.
And you've trained him yourself, no one else has trained him?
Yeah, it was a hard road training him, but yeah.
And so what made you decide to live in a car with him?
I was in a toxic relationship, and I don't want to get too much into it.
No,
because of
but
the
just
other
in
person.
general. No, I wouldn't tell my reasons for doing that either, but just like,
But,
actually, you know what? I don't like that question, and I'd like to just
okay.
let it go. So, oh, you know what? I've been wanting to ask you, what about these things that you carve, these staffs? They look so neat.
Well, my dog loves to play with every dog he sees, so I found the only way I could take him off the leash without freaking people out was to take him out in the woods.
Right.
Because he'll just run up to someone's dog and, you know, all they see is a giant wolf coming at him.
Scared.
So we'd go out there and I'd find these sticks and he'd, you know, be able to run around and follow me and be kind of free.
I had a dog that would carry sticks around that was as big as trees.
Yes, yes. He would try that too.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So you've been living in a vehicle in Port Townsend for years. You've seen everybody downtown and stuff for years.
Oh yeah, I know just about everybody in the town in one way or another, as far as the work I've done and being homeless and.
We see their lives, their comings and goings.
Yes.
We got a little black book, Port Townsend. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, no, I've known a lot of people from Port Hadlock all the way to Port Townsend. 14 years I've lived here.
Did a lot of people respond to you at Safeway with asking for food for your dog?
Yeah, actually, I got to the point where I had so much food that like I had to try to turn it away, but then people would just drop it off, and I didn't want to.
Right.
Feel.
Right. The community is good, and the community's been good to me. It's
Absolutely.
the government and the disconnect, and what's happening now is, you know, some people just really. I think they're lonely and they got a lot of things going on in their life, and they really want to love something, they really want a cause, and they're coming from a place of heart, but they're not looking that they're ripping your heart out to soothe their heart.
Right.
So, yeah.
And they're not seeing, they see this dog, and he's a great dog because, you know, I taught him well, and I trained him and showed him love, and he turned into this amazing dog that, like, everybody wants because,
right.
I mean, it's
very special.
It's very hard to get him to that.
And I don't care what breed he is, he's special because he was behaving himself.
Yeah. Well, he's always been pretty good at that. I mean,
Yeah.
He was a puller and a pillow demolisher. But
So what happened that day that they got control of him?
People had been voicing their concerns about him because he had a skin condition that I was fighting for almost a year, and it would get better, it'd get worse, and I don't know if it was people feeding him, like if I'd go in the store, they'd just assume he was starving to death because...
Right, foods, allergies definitely would do that.
Yeah, and he was a pack animal, so when we moved, we had to leave our other dogs behind, and...
I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, but you're the alpha, right? You trained it, and it's a wolf hybrid. It shouldn't be with anyone else.
Right. Actually, I did a lot of research on them, as I said, and 80% of them usually get put down because they don't rehome very well.
Right.
And, you know, most people don't realize how much work they take.
Right, and if they think, correct me if I'm wrong, if they think the dog's aggressive or some issue, it's because you're the alpha, and they shouldn't be taken away from you.
Right. And my dog's never shown signs of aggression, but a lot of them have. You know, other people raising hybrids and not fully knowing what they're getting into when they get them.
Right. And so sorry to interrupt you earlier, but what happened that day that it disappeared?
I was going to Walmart, and I just got a trailer, and he was at a friend's house in the backyard on his lead, big yard, big lead. He had a zip or a pulley that, you know, I think it was 50-foot cord that he could run on. Doghouse, food, water, and there was just no room to get him to Walmart. It's like one of the only times I ever have left him behind since he was born, or since I got him. And when I came back, in the middle of the sidewalk was his lead. He had a leash on, and I'd use the leash to click the lead on because it was just a loop. So somebody would have had to have unclipped it and let him off. And then he ran straight over to the dog park. And
as you do to go play with your friends, right?
Yeah, to play with your friends. And,
of course.
And I guess, I don't know if they called law enforcement or if law enforcement saw him there, but they went and got him without a problem and brought him to the Humane Society. And I was looking for him all that night.
He didn't have tags or anything? Cause
he did, but it was worn out and faded.
Yeah.
And I believe it has an old number on it anyway, so I don't think it would have.
And that's not conducive to our lifestyle. Going and taking care of those things are part of the daily survival.
Right.
Well, for me anyway.
And, and he was always with me, so I was never thought that he wouldn't be, or that he would get loose. And it's actually happened several times. There's a couple times he'd be in the car and I'd go in the store and people would just open my car door and leave it open. And most of the times he'd stay there.
So where is he now?
I don't know. They won't tell me. They haven't let me see him. They didn't return any of my calls. They don't return my emails. They've said that they've emailed me, but I've checked all my emails and there's no emails from anybody.
And it's my personal opinion, but if you was the lawyer in town, if you had a town business, if you was somebody else, they probably would have answered your call, right? I mean, you believe? Right. I mean, they're prejudicing us because we don't live in a house, we don't have a voice, and we don't have maybe a brain. But
correct.
Obviously, we do.
I did live in a house, and I rented a house, and I worked full time, and I got a different treatment than I do nowadays. And honestly, that's made it harder to go back to work because it just didn't seem real.
Yeah, it's too far of a leap. And like a video I did the other day, you know, I was working at a restaurant downtown and showering in a sink. I mean, you can't, it's a bridge too far. Like, get a job. Well, the money doesn't necessarily get you a house, and how do we get a job? You don't even give us a shower to use.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
And, you know, there's ways I could have gone about it and, you know, tried to struggle from the bottom, but the fact is I'd already gone through all this, and the system helped me at first, and then because of a lie. And
you're a man of faith, right?
Yeah, ever since I was born.
And you trust that there's a bigger reason, a bigger calling kind of here.
I do.
And of living in a vehicle. I know I got closer to God living in a vehicle.
I do, yeah, and I have a lot of empathy for other people, so I've always in my life, people that I didn't understand, I tried to relate to, so I suppose I would go towards their direction.
Right.
And then,
yeah, me too, try to please other people. But I interrupted your thought on that, so your faith, you've had your whole life a strong faith.
Yes, I have a strong faith. I don't necessarily go to any church or have any denomination or anything like that, because I see a lot of judgment in politics and
just
religion.
God. Jesus wasn't Christian, right?
Right.
Jesus was about God in this, right?
And the funny thing is like I've gone to Christian churches, and I don't have anything against them. I think it's a good place for people to go and gather.
But you have a connection to spirit that you feel close to, and to Jesus.
And it's always been me by myself with, you know, with God
and Moses.
And Moses, ironically.
Why'd you name your dog Moses?
I named him Moses because when I got him, he was 8 weeks old, and he was gray, and he just looked like this old little baby dog, but he had an old look to him, and
wise.
Being an old species, you know.
So Yoda didn't come to mind? No.
No.
Moses was perfect, and it's especially perfect for this next mission of shining the light. Think of all the other dogs Moses is going to say was speaking out here.
Right, and the funny thing is during all this, I've gotten a lot of judgment from people, and I understand where people come from, because I understand where fear gets people.
Right.
And how it's hard to see both sides of the story if you're not asking questions.
No, they don't know how you end up in a car.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that, and I can have compassion for that. But if I tell them my experience, you know, they're opening now. People are apologizing for, even the ones that involved to go after Moses are apologizing because they're like, I didn't know. I really had no idea of that perspective.
Right.
So we're giving them that.
Well, fear is a funny thing, and I've noticed every time I've had any kind of fear in my life, it has never done me any good.
No.
So,
But I don't know about you, but I've experienced extreme fear in the car. No money and freezing temperature, like 14 degrees. And then I was like, okay, and not only that, I gave my money to other people to help get them home and stuff. And so that night, I remember the night that I really experienced that, I just promised my body that I would never do that again. I would never help people to the point of where I nearly died.
right, and that's how I was.
Right, we got
all my friends are always like, you know, you can help people, but you got to pick and choose
Right.
who you help, and you know, you got to take care of the foundation first. But
Yeah.
I've always had hardships in life, so it's been easier for me to, I guess, suffer than to watch other people. So I try to, well, I don't try to, I do whatever I can for people, and even if it puts me in a position of
Yeah.
comfort or...
And I totally get it. So what do we do next? So what are you waiting on next to take the next step to get Moses back?
Information.
You don't know for sure.
I haven't got I mean, this is the second time this has happened.
And you've been charged with a crime?
I was told I was being charged with a
Right.
crime.
So do you have a criminal attorney?
I haven't even got a court date
Right.
or
Told,
anything.
charged with a crime, no criminal attorney.
And it's
okay.
been almost a month and I haven't even seen him.
The dog's been gone for a month,
Almost a month.
and you committed a crime, and you don't have a public defender because you don't live in a house? Just ask them, poor Townsend. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you there.
No, that's a legitimate question, and
Talk on that, but maybe we can pause it, come back.
Yeah. Can you shut the camera off for me? Thank you.